Hello everyone, we're back with this 2012 Turbo that has a rear window shade that's stuck and popping and making a bunch of noise because the gear has stripped out. And so this will be a quick video just to show the process here to get to it and fix it. So undoing the door panel is the first step with several parts that easily just pop off with the armrests, this little cover, and we're going to take out the door handle little cover piece. It's a little fiddly at times. This nice little wood trim panel, we'll pull that out as well, just peeling it. It does have little hooks on it, so once you pop it free, it has to slide backward toward the rear of the door, so that'll slide out. And then we're going to take off the door handle, a couple Torx screws. The first one's already exposed here. We'll buzz this off with an electric drill. And this one we need to pop off this little trim piece first, and then slide that screw out of there, and then the whole handle will just come straight out. There are two more screws. One is here where that little cover panel was on the door handle, and then there's one toward the back here where that trim panel was covering. Last screw is this little screw underneath the door panel, and then we can yank hard and pull this thing straight off, and it takes quite a bit of oomph to pop the little plastic pieces off. Once they're popped off, the little rod on this shade is going to be in our way of removing the door panel, so we're just going to pull everything straight up, including the shade like that. So once you pull the shade up, it brings the rod upward also, so it can be withdrawn from the door as you pull the entire panel upward. So now we can undo the Bowden cable here that holds, that's the door latch mechanism, so we're going to pop that little cable off. And we have two speaker wires we're going to undo. And once those two speaker wires are unclipped, this is a car with the Burmester system. Once these two speakers are undone, and then the electrical connector at the control unit is removed, so we'll pop that one plug out. Now the door is free, and we can get the door panel out of the way. What has to happen is the window needs to be rolled down about 2/3 of the way down to line up those little screw holes. Once those little screw holes are lined up, we can detach the window from the regulator, and so that's what we're doing here with these reverse. We're actually working on the end of the screw, so you have to go the opposite direction we're actually looking like we're tightening this, but we're actually loosening that screw. These screws retain the bottom of the window, and so popping both of these loose, they don't have to be undone very far. You don't want to undo them too far. That frees up the window to be yanked up firmly, and then now it can be taped into position so that it doesn't fall into the door while we're working. Just using some painter's tape here to keep it retained in its position. And now the door is free of the window itself, but we have a couple more spots here that we're going to need to undo to free the entire door panel, the inner door panel, off. And so here we're all buttoned up and looking good. And so now we're going to undo the panel. These little peripheral attachers rotate 90 degrees. So just using a 13mm little wrench going around the edges here, we're able to undo all of these white attachers. We're going to undo our electrical connection at the door. And so we'll pop off from the top, and then we'll rotate this orange little locking mechanism. It has to go 90 degrees before the plug will actually be able to be withdrawn. So once it's 90 degrees, the plug can come out, and then we can poke this cable harness into the door to give us a little more slack so we're not yanking on anything too firmly. Doesn't have to be poked all the way in, just loose enough so it can move around freely. And now we're ready to undo the window regulator attachment points that are on the door. And so there are two screws that are two Torx screws need to be undone. This is going the regular direction, so the only reverse thread direction to undo are those window attachments. So from here on out, we're still doing all the normal unscrewing. These screws usually get kind of stuck in there, so we're going to just loosen them. And once they're loosened, after peeling the little tape covers over out of the way, we're going to then use a little magnet to withdraw them. Sometimes they come out on the screws. If they don't, then we use a magnet. So don't forget to pull out this little peg at the top, and now we can use our little magnet to withdraw both of those screws. There we go. And now our door, for the most part, is free, but it's still attached to the handle. There's a plastic holder for the door handle. We're going to undo this, not completely, but just mostly to loosen it up. That gives us a little more free play because we don't need to undo the entire door panel itself, just enough room to get to the back side, because this job, all we're doing is undoing. We're going to go fast here, but we're undoing just the window shade or sun blind mechanism. So we're undoing these two screws that hold the top part of the window shade mechanism. And once we get our little bracket off, we can then work on the 3 screws that are on the bottom. And so here we are. Let's get those 3 screws off that are holding the window shade motor and little drive mechanism in place. So those 3 will come off. You'll need to unplug the whole thing from the control unit, which has already been done here. So there's our loose plug, and feed it through the other wires. And then it helps to kind of peel off the little rubber plug that's there, and then it can just be withdrawn completely out of this inner door panel. And so it takes a little finagling. That little rubber bushing is kind of hard to move out, but here we go. We can withdraw the whole thing out. So now we're ready to disassemble this. Here we are on the bench. And there's little torque screws that we're going to be undoing around the periphery. So any of them that you can see and access, there's one on this back side, and then all the rest of them are on the other side. So we'll flip this on over and undo all of the other torque screws that are on here. And once we've got them all done, this is really a 2-piece thing where we have the drive mechanism and then we have the motor assembly. And so we don't want to open the drive mechanism. If you do that, you might have a big springy thing you got to wrap up and put all back together. So we're just going to detach this drive mechanism from the motor assembly, and we're done with that drive mechanism. So now the motor assembly, we're going to undo the rest of the screws and pull the cover off to reveal what we're here for. And so here we have the stripped white gears. It's pretty common for this to happen. And there are 2 gears that usually strip out, and in this case both of them were stripped. So we'll pop this little pin off. The gears just slide straight out, and here you can see several teeth that have come off are on that little gear, and even the larger gear is split with a missing tooth or 2. And so that's what we're going to be replacing. If you buy the plastic gears, these can be purchased on eBay. They're not of the greatest quality. They have flash all over the place, so it's kind of important if you're going to use these plastic gears to clean them up. They've got flash all over the place, whether it's the gears themselves, the teeth, or if it's even the middle where the little shaft goes through. That is usually filled with something, so here we're going to pop that part out to actually make it open. So it takes a little cleanup of both of the gears. Then don't forget to pick out all the little teeth. So a lot of times the residual grease that's in here will grab a bunch of the little broken off gear teeth. So clean all that stuff out of there so that we're then ready for assembly. This is using the plastic gears. I'm not a fan of the plastic gears because they usually are pretty low quality. And the bigger gear is pretty tough because it has to actually be pressed in place. So here we're going to remove the old broken one. So you can see how the gear is actually broken in half and it's missing a couple teeth, but you have to pry off the little piece, and the new one has to get pressed on. And just like the other gear, there's flash. It's such a difficult fit on these that in order to press this on here, it has to be lined up perfectly. So it's a good idea to give yourself some reference points so you know that you're pushing it together properly. So using some little tape and some pen marks, and then using a vise, we can actually pop this into place. There's a decent risk that when you do this, you may actually just pop the gear and break it. And so that's why I'm not a real big fan of this version. I'd kind of prefer the metal type, which is what we're actually going to use in this case here. So here, these metal gears, they already come assembled. You don't have to put the larger gear onto the metal piece. And so in order to get these lined up, what I like to do is I usually like to test fit everything before we're putting it together, so you know you've got it all indexed properly. So you can just set the gear in the drive section of it and then slide it into the motor section, and then you can kind of poke your finger in and take it apart, and now you know the gears are lined up because those splines need to fit together. So don't forget the little O-ring that we need to transfer over. It's like a little seal, or it just maintains pressure on the gear to keep it in place. So put that little O-ring on because the metal gears don't come with that. We can now assemble our case, And once again, this is kind of our chance to test things, make sure that we've got it lined up just right. So just hand fitting it here without any screws. We're just going to make sure that we can put it all together nicely. And if it's off just a little bit, sometimes even indexing it ahead of time like I had done, it isn't quite right. And so we're going to actually undo it and move it over one tooth. So I'm going to just withdraw it, move it over one tooth. There we go. And now test fit it and see if it lines itself up properly. That way this thing will run just right when we install it and not have to undo anything again. So let's see if it all fits together. Again, it's a little bit of a squish because the drive mechanism has their like little rubbery fittings it fits into, but it should kind of wobble in with a little wobbling of both sides and then seat together perfectly just like that so the surfaces mate. So if we're all good, now we can button up the motor side of this. And so all the facing screws, sometimes you got to check it, make sure you're not going to put one in that you're not supposed to put in yet. So all the facing screws, and we're still just double checking it, making sure we got them all. We can get one more in there. There we go. So these are all the screws you need to put in. So looking at this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so we're on a little quick speed here, but we'll zoom all these together here. And now we can put the drive shaft into the middle of this. It just slides right in. You just press it in, and now we can mate the two sides together. Again, a little wobbling is all it takes to get them to mate just right. And then we have several screws to install. We've got 2 on one side here. So here's this base screw, and then we got another one up where my thumb is, and then we flip it over and there's one more screw on the back side. There we go, flip it over, get that one more screw inside, and we got it. We're assembled, ready to put this thing back in the door. And so reassembly is just what we've already been doing, is just feeding this back up into the door. Again, that grommet's going to be a little tough. It takes a little fiddling from both sides. From this side, kind of jamming it up in there and then reaching your hand around, kind of pulling it up. But once the grommet's put into position, that's probably the most difficult part of this whole thing. We can then start attaching everything else. So you can see coming from the back side here. Here's the grommet installed and in good shape, ready to go. You can kind of wiggle it around to see that it is installed and sealed up. And now we can put the 3 retaining screws that hold the drive mechanism together. So we'll put those 3 screws in. And then after the 3 screws are in, we'll feed the wires back into their correct positions and plug the motor into the control unit. And now we're getting the inner part taken care of here with the little bracket. So there is a rubber sleeve that needs to be in position. You can see the sleeve that's present there. And we're going to start by just hand tightening the bracket into place. And then as we tighten it, just making sure that rubber sleeve ends up being centered on the bracket itself. So start just by doing a little hand tightening, and then we can go kind of one side at a time as it cinches itself down and into place. So taking a look at the inside, you can see that the bracket is centered, or the rubber thing is centered with the bracket, and we're ready to put everything back in. So we're just going to slide the door back into position here and feeding the cord at the same time, since it puts a little tension on it or pressure on it. So we're going to slide everything into place and just push with little pops as we get these guys put into place. They each all pop into their little areas here. So you kind of wiggle them and give them a push, and then we'll go at it with our 13mm to lock them into place. So with a 90-degree clockwise turn, that will snap each little fitting into place. And they should all have a definitive pop. If they're kind of weird going in, that they don't just easily slide and pop, then they're not in properly. So you want to loosen it up and then try to push it into its proper position. The last little screw here on the door handle, we want to get that tightened up. So that's the door handle little retaining piece. And now we can get the regulator attachment points put back together here. So just carefully feeding that screw in, or use the magnet to get it in there. But we're going to tighten these 2 screws down and then close off the little covers after we've cinched them down pretty good. We'll close the little covers off, those little tape pieces. Don't need to take them all the way off, but just enough to get in there and out of there, and then just push them each down. Sometimes that one pulls a little fuzzy stuff with it, so just yank that fuzzy stuff off. And now the window can be dropped into position. You don't want to push too hard, and you may push the regulator down some, so it's helpful to actually put the wrench in and then push down so you're able to hold those little attachers in position. And then we can retighten these screws, which are the 2 backward screws. So since we're working on the end of these screws, we're going to be as though we're loosening them, but we're actually tightening them. So we're going in a counterclockwise way to cinch this down. And then once it's together, before we button the door together, we're going to plug it in so we can actually activate it. And using the window switch, we're going to move the window up just to make sure that the gap is even, and this is. So we're good. We can cover up the little access panel screws here with these little covers, these little plugs, 2 of them. And don't forget the little guide rod sleeve that gets popped in. You gotta give it a firm push to put it into place. And the door panel is ready to go on now, but this guide rod is so much easier if you just yank it. You got a good grip now where it's at, so you can just pull it off. Now it's really easy to manipulate the door panel, get these wires put back into place. You've got that one control unit plug, you have this speaker plug, and one more speaker plug. This one's just they're both press fit inside here. Pretty hard to do though, you just got to slide it with your thumb to get it in there. But once these 2 little speaker plugs are in, here's a good view of that one. There's the other little small tweeter that's up top there. They just slide right in. And so now the door latch mechanism from the door handle needs to be installed, and so the little cable gets hooked in first, and then this little slide clip goes in. There's a little slide clip in place. It should be flat against the door. And all the trim pieces and handle and everything, and don't forget this little screw on the bottom. Once that's all together, we can now install the guide rod or the rod for the shade in a much easier fashion here by just pulling the shade out, and then we're going to slide the rod. Doesn't matter which way it goes. There's no one side or the other. We just slide it down into place, and then we're going to lift up the shade and put it on the end of the rod and give it a firm push down, and it will pop itself into place. And then same thing at the bottom here, just give it a little push and it will pop itself into place. Because this was kind of acting weird, it looks like it's not shut all the way, but once we activate this, it will be closed completely. So what we had done for this Cayenne so that it could be driven without the window shade going nuts and be able to open and close the window, we had deactivated the coating for the rear sunshade. To do this, we use a launch, and what we're doing here is actually reactivating it because it was previously deactivated. So we go into the coating and search for SUN. So on a launch, they call it a sunblind. So if we search for sunblind, you can pull up the coating for this rear passenger door, and you can see how it's inactive right now. We're going to select active. To reactivate this coating, we're going to write the code. Now the car knows that it has a rear sunshade to use. So once we've now reactivated it, now it will work with the car. So now when we hit the window button just as normal, we've got a normal working window shade. No clinking, no bumping up and down. And you can see how the door now shuts perfectly. Once it runs through its course, it'll pull itself to its end stops. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more action from the 958 Garage.